name is Chloe. I'm in 7th grade and I'm from Princeton. And I'm really glad to talk this issue in front of you guys. Pizza, chicken, hamburger, french fries, they are all fast food. Do everyone like those food? Do you know what's inside of this food? Have you ever think about how do they make this food? Even I, who is telling about you in front of you like fast food before. But when I know this, I was so shocked and I think I need to tell you about it. As you may guess, my topic is let's boycott fast food. First, fast food is make people fat and unhealthy. Second, fast food are unhygienic. Third, fast food company doesn't respect their workers of their own. First, fast food makes people fat and unhealthy. Do you know the movie Super Size Me? It is an experience about if someone who is very healthy eats fast food for 1 month, what will happen? First, he was okay and he likes eating fast food. But by time passes, he became very fat and unhealthy. His blood pressure became high and he hated to eat fast food. Could I give you one more example? People who is on a diet never eat fast food like chicken or pizza. It means fast food make people fat. Do you know that soybean paste soup's calorie is much more higher than hamburger? Yes, it is true, but if you look at the ingredient, it is different. Hamburger is full of salt, fat, and chemical flavorings. It makes food more delicious, but I didn't sure it makes the food healthy or not. But soybean paste soup is full of vegetables like pumpkin or beans. It is more good for health, even it has much more higher calorie than hamburger. Second, fast food are unhygienic. I heard this from my sister who has a part-time job at Lotteria. She said they stepped on frozen hamburger patties to tear them apart. They make hamburger, french fries, chicken by bare hand, even without washing them. I saw this experiment at TV, and it was like to buy a hamburger and french fries and leave them for 1 month without 1 year without opening it. Even after 1 year, the hamburger and french fry were not rotten. Then how about chicken? I saw this on the TV program, The Consumer Complaint, and the 7 out of 10 chicken restaurants reused the oil to fry chicken. The oil looked dirty. And it is about the fast food company. I heard this from my sister I mentioned at first. Then she said Lotteria makes her go back home when there's no customs to reduce amount of money when she is at home at monthly pay. Korea's minimum wage is about 6,000 won. But most of the company like Lotteria, Burger King, KFC or BBQ does not obey the minimum wage of Korea. I know many of you will keep eating fast food even after I talk this about you. But I was really glad to tell this in front of you, and I hope you to change your mind and boycott fast food with me. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.
Thank you, Chloe. Okay, the next speaker is from Berkeley, Hong Kong.
Is my voice nice? Yeah. Morning, everyone. My name is Joseph from Berkeley. Have you ever traveled our country? Could you raise your hand if you had traveled somewhere? Oh, awesome. Yeah. Actually, me too. I traveled a few countries with my family. Venice, New York, London, and Paris. I can remember each travel story even now because it was so impressive that when I sleep, I even dream about my trips. Also, I know why it is important to me. Let's explore why memory of trip is important to us. First, it is good for your learning in school. I mean, the memory of trip will help you understand well. We have to study about history and society. It's disgusting, yeah? If you have memories of trips, you can understand it better than your friend when your school teacher teaches you about history and society, because you already know about their country, their culture, and their history. Second, it is good for your English ability. We need excellent English ability to make our future great. If you go travel, you can make foreign friends and talk with your friends many times, like our Berkeley teacher, Jaminder. Your friends will make you be a global person. Actually, the memories of my trips helped me improve my English ability. While my family explored Italy, I went shopping in the market alone because my mom avoided talking with foreigners in English and she wanted to see my English ability. But finally I managed well. So I will constantly go to trips in my future. Third, trips are good for your health. If your body is healthy and your soul is healthy, then you have a healthy life. If you are tired because of school or job, I want to persuade you to go on a trip, because trips make us think and feel good again. Also, the memory of a trip helps us when we want to give up everything. Once again, travel is important for our whole life. Even if you go on a trip that is not a long time or not a long distance, it will help you anyways. Why people want to go trip? Why people use a lot of money for trip? Why people think trip is important? Now, you know why. For your learning, for your English ability, for your health. Let's go to travel.
Thank you for an energetic speech. Now next is also from Berkeley, Kim Young. Give it up for Jenny, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Young Kim Jenny. These days, almost all of the students study hard to achieve their goals. Do you? However, when they study, they receive help from other people, except school. We call this private education. Examples of private education include extracurricular work and academy. However, private education has many disadvantages. So today I am going to talk about 3 disadvantages of private education. First, students can get their free time. Most of the students go to many academies or they stay in the academies for a long time. And their academy gives them a lot of homework to do. Therefore, students have a hard time to enjoy their hobbies or free and rest time. Second, when the students grow up, they may depend on other people. Private education is studying with teacher in a place outside of school, and students already receive somebody's help when they do private education. Therefore, they depend on their teacher when doing private education, and they find it hard to study for themselves. Also, they may be waiting for someone's help when they do something. Third, students lack the ability of thinking deeply. In the case of maths, they have to solve problems, which is difficult and requires deep thinking. But private education only teaches the explanation and answer, not other things. Private education doesn't include inventive thinking of students. They just say, you just listen to my explanation. Therefore, students lose their chance to think deeply and they don't display their originality. Also, they get short knowledge. As I mentioned to you guys, private education is not that helpful. They also give stress to students. If you go Hana High School, you will agree in my speech. There are so many students who are very good at study without doing private education. If your grades are low, then you have to receive someone's help. It's okay. But too much private education is poison to the contrary. Thank you for listening to my speech.
Okay, now it's already the last speaker of senior and intermediate classes. It's Choi from Michigan. Please come on the stage, Choi.
Sophia from Michigan. And before I start, I want to ask you a favor. Do you know who I am? Someone who knows me, raise your hands, please. Thank you. Okay, then someone who knows what I want to be in the future. Okay, but do you know exactly what I want to do? Oh, okay, I'll explain. I want to be a counselor, and I will now tell you what condition I have chosen my future best job from. These days, many people have a personal goal. Now, make a scene in your mind. Imagine a boy around the age of 13. He's now about to go to middle school. Then, he goes to the best middle school in Korea. Then, he goes to the best high school and university. After graduating the university, he gets the best job. Do you know what this best job is? Let's talk about this best job. Everybody wants to have this best job. But what is the best job for you? A job that your parents want from you? Or a job that you can receive a large paycheck from? What I'm saying is, the job that gives you the most money is not necessarily the best job. First, money is not the main idea. You should choose your future job according to what you like. My friend has a big brother. He really liked making food. He wanted to be a professional cook so much that he tried learning how to cook. But he thought, if I became a cook, I can't make a lot of money. So he chose to be a doctor and study. What do you think? Do you think he turned into a good doctor? Even though he studied, he wasn't good at examining the blood or performing an operation. That means he can't do a doctor's duty properly. So what's the point, you ask? If you choose your future job according to your passion, you won't have this problem. Secondly, you should choose your future job according to what you want. You shouldn't choose it according to your parents' decision. One day, a famous writer came to our school. She was an unknown writer for a long time. She tried to give up. Still, being a writer is a dream of hers all along. She couldn't give up. She worked hard to make a bestseller. When she finally achieved her goal, she became a wealthy writer. So, if you choose your job according to what you want, you can achieve your goal more easily. Third, you should choose your future job according to your talent. Everybody has their own talent, such as being talented at math, speaking, writing, and lots of other talents. Some friends would think they are not good at anything, but if you think about yourself really hard, you can find your true talent. A couple of stories I have told you ended negatively with someone not choosing from the best job for them. Sadly, this is all true, and it can happen to you. You should think about what you want to do. Don't become another negative story. Choose your career path according to your passion and talent. I wish you the best of luck on your search.
Thank you, Sophia. We're going to hold for a second while we gather the scores. So Jenny, I said how eager you are. Well, please hold for a second.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kim. Today, I'm going to talk about 3 big problems African children face. There are lots of reasons that children are in danger, but in short, I would like to talk about the problems of education, health, and starvation. Firstly, many children do not get a proper education. The main reason is the poverty. The price of the school uniform and the cost of school education is too expensive for them. Also, they live in poverty, so they have to work hard rather than learning. It's just the miserable reality of their life. Secondly, lots of children in Africa are in danger of many things, especially health problems. They're easy to be infected with diseases such as AIDS or the flu. According to the research that I found, there were so many African children who died annually. So when we calculate the average of them, the result is that 1 child dies every 3 seconds. That means 1, 2, 3. 1 child has just passed away. It's very painful, but the important thing is that there are so few services to take care of them. We must find a solution and save children who are in danger. Lastly, too many African children are starving. There are lots of children who don't have parents or households. Therefore, they have no money to buy food and eat. As I previously talked about, there are few people to afford food for African children. We have to change people's mind to think about them and volunteer to them. In conclusion, because of the problem of education, health, and starvation, lots of African children are in danger. So we have to help alleviate their pain. Like the sentence, "An ounce of practice is worth a pound of theory," we have to be changed and practice first, and then others would follow us. Thank you for listening to my speech.
Thank you so much, Jenny. Now it's from Washington, Hassan.
Hello everyone, I am Songbin from Washington class. Before we begin, I want to ask you a simple question. Who in here likes to watch movies? I am also a big fan of watching movies, and I especially love movies made by Marvel Studios. Anyway, as you can see, the majority of the people raise their hands when I ask. So, maybe movies is the most popular form of entertainment. There are animation movies such as Inside Out, and there are some widely popular movies like The Avengers. But when you watch these movies, don't you feel like you had seen a scene before? Don't some of these films seem familiar? These are called cliches. Cliches in movies are scenes or plot lines that come out repetitively in several movies. They are expected and predictable. There are also many flaws that are totally impossible in real life. So I would like to introduce some cliches and flaws. First, most of the movies you have watched have the happily ever after ending. Doesn't that sound familiar? Where did you see these kinds of endings? Yes, it is from old traditional stories and also from modern books. These things affect how the movie is made and often affect the endings. There is your first cliche, called an ending cliche. Movies like The Avengers, Terminator Genesis, and many other movies have these cliches. Interestingly, some people don't realize they are watching an ending cliche. But if you watch as many movies as some people do, you will start to see these patterns. As I read about this fact in a book, I started to think what genre of the movie would have the most cliche. And there was a same person who thought the same thought as me. So the answer is the romance genre, but all romance stories, love stories, all have these kinds of cliches. There's a man and there's a woman who love each other, and there is always the bad guy or an antagonist, or there are barriers to their love. At first, for fun, the man and the woman can't overcome to add fun for the audiences, and there is a sudden event that the man and the woman get to overcome the barrier, and there is another happily ever after ending. So, as you can see, there is a cliche in the plot lines of these romance genres. So, there are movies like Cinderella, The Notebook, and basically all movies made by Disney have these kinds of cliches. Next, I want to tell you about flaws in movies, especially ones that you can see in action movies. Sometimes there are scenes that a car explodes when it gets hit on a bullet on its gas tank. But this is totally flawed. This idea started because people thought that if the sparks transfer to the gasoline, the car will explode. But all the experts say that sparks will unlikely transfer to the gasoline, and even though they transfer, the car will only catch fire. Maybe you have seen this scene before in any James Bond, Mission Impossible, or Die Hard. Another common flaw involves the hero in action movies. The main character or hero of the movie sometimes it gets hit by a bullet from a gun. This happens so often in the stomach. Why is it always in the stomach? Is it actually safer to get hit in your stomach than other body parts? Absolutely not. If you get hit by a gun in your stomach, you get a hole in it even though you get hit by a small handgun. Then your guts will start to spill out because of your body pressure. Nobody can move with that amount of pain. But in the movie, the main character does intense actions such as running. Did you see the movie character running with his bullet in his stomach and a hole in it and holding his guts in his hand and running? Nobody does that. If they do, it's rated R. But in real life, that's totally impossible. How can a human still run with their guts spilling out? You also might see a dying character in the movies. Isn't it strange how they nearly always get to say what they want to say right before they die? For example, if you watch The Lord of the Rings, Faramir gets hit by 2 arrows, but he finishes an entire conversation with 2 arrows in his stomach. Nobody can have a conversation with 2 arrows in their stomach. So if you see scenes like that, you shouldn't believe them. In conclusion, movies are loved by the majority of people, but as I watch more and more movies, I realize there are same stories like ABC, and so on. But I think movies can make them more fun by changing the beginning like DBC, or changing the events like AEC, and changing the endings like ABZ. And lastly, I just want to tell you to never watch movies to get information unless it's a documentary. Movies are for fun and for escaping your reality and your loads of homework. Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy. And it's the second last speaker of today, Downtown from Cambridge.
Good morning, everyone. I am Fred from Cambridge. Today I'd like to cover the benefits of unifying with North Korea. When I was very young, I thought unifying with North Korea was a crazy idea. I did not want to live with bloody Kim Jong-un. However, as I grew up, I learned more about this topic, and now I think unifying with North Korea is necessary. First, we do not want to live under the pressure of war. We are the only divided country, so foreigners and even us think that South Korea is not a safe place to live. This is because North Korea is making nuclear weapons. These kinds of threats can disturb the peace. For example, North Korea used weapons to capsize Chon'an boat a few years ago. After that, Kim Jong-un killed his own men for minor reasons like sleeping. Second, staying divided is a loss of people. When war took place, many people lost their families. Imagine staying away from your family for huge amounts of time. It is no wonder they miss each other. Even this minute, our country is divided. But if we unify, we can prevent our population decreasing. Third, we can reduce the expenses used for the Department of South Korea defense. We spent 32,000 billion won just on defense. We waste 2.7% of our hard-earned money on defense. This is higher than UK, which uses 2.6%, and higher than France, which uses 2.3%. Also, we have to pay the soldiers and for their weapons. We can use this money more wisely and help the elderly or the child in need. In conclusion, I think we should unify with North Korea, even if it means we have to live uncomfortable for a few years. I think one country divided in two is truly sad. I hope I will eventually see only one Korea on the map. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. Now, everyone, is the last speaker of the day, Hakami from Washington.
Hello everyone, I'm Claire from Washington. Claire, you are terrible at baking. Why don't you get out of the kitchen and do the simple chores like cleaning up this mess you made? This is what I hear from my friend every single time we bake together. Baking is one of my things to do in my free time. But guess what? I burn nearly everything I touch. Cookies? Destroyed. Muffins? Ruined. Cakes? Too dry. Macarons? Don't even ask about it. Seriously, I'm surprised I haven't burned my fingers off. Should I stop baking since I'm so bad at it? Absolutely not. I will keep on baking, which is something I'm really passionate about, even though I'm not good at it. This should be the same for you. These days, many people around us say that we must be passionate about something. They also say we must be an expert at it. I do not agree. Having to be a professional at everything you love to do is a lot of pressure. As I mentioned, my example for this situation is baking. I'm really interested in it. You cannot imagine how much I love to bake. However, I'm a failure at it. To be honest, you won't be able to taste my cookies or cakes. If you do, I'm pretty sure that you will lose your senses. You won't be able to eat for a month or two. This is true because I experienced it myself. Additionally, I don't have an oven at home. I have to go over to my friend's house to bake. Do you think I'm being reasonable? Or should I just quit while I'm ahead? As you can see, I'm not an expert or in the best circumstances for baking. I just enjoy it. I enjoy being creative. I enjoy throwing flour at my friend. I just enjoy doing something that I don't have to be so serious about. It is not necessary to be a specialist at everything you love. Sometimes I ask myself, I'm not good at baking and I always get a bad result. What's the point in doing it? Then I answer, I got many things like friendship, besides delicious cookies. The bad results don't matter to me. Nowadays, people only care about the results. They decide whether the activity was valuable or not by looking at how successful the outcomes were. Isn't it what you experienced during the activity important? How you found pleasure, how you escaped through your reality, how you got to make memories with your friends. Aren't these precious to you? Even when there were some mistakes during the process, isn't it about the mistakes you learned from that is important? Do not be so obsessed with the results. If you keep in mind that it doesn't matter much, you will feel more comfortable and relaxed when doing the things you love but are not good at. Don't be afraid to fail. In fact, feel free to mess up. It's what the experience that taught you that is so important. To wrap up, You do not have to be an expert or a professional to do the things you're passionate about. If you like to draw, but you know you can only make scribbles, just have fun. If you like to sing, but you often go off pitch, just have fun. You may not become a great artist, singer, but that's okay, isn't it? I may not become a world-class baker either, but can you guess what I plan to do after this camp? I'm going straight to my friend's house to burn some chocolate chip cookies. Thank you.